Welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and in this episode, we gotta go fast because we are taking a look at the brand new Diamond Select PVC statue of Sonic the Hedgehog. And if you want to take our hashtag Sonic Challenge, it's not a real hashtag, but feel free to use it if you want. If you want to take our Sonic Challenge, go ahead and watch this video in double speed and see how much faster I actually talk when I'm that fast, because I already talk pretty fast coming from New York City, so hey, what are you gonna do about that? Now this really nice little Sonic piece here is based on not the video games, but the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out not too long ago. And surprisingly, it did really well, but there wasn't a ton of merch around it. But hey, Diamond is here to the rescue, so better late than never. But before we get the blue blur out of the packaging, let's go ahead and talk about this box itself. And the box is the typical Diamond Select packaging that you get with any of their gallery diorama statues. It's a colorful box, really eye-catching actually. It's pretty bright and definitely, I would say, stands out on a shelf. So in spite of its size, it's actually pretty hard to miss this thing. The back of the box has a pretty decent bio, actually. I mean, decent enough. What can you say about Sonic that you need to really say? But it basically kind of talks a little bit about the plot of the film in fairly vague terms, but it's still plenty of information for what this piece is about. And honestly, I think it's just there to remind you that this is not from the video games. They really want to make sure that is hammered in so that you get this thing and you're not disappointed when you see that Sonic is looking a little bit more realistic than he normally would. The back of the box also lets us know that this piece was designed by Joe Allard and sculpted by Varner Studios. And if the name Varner sounds familiar to you, that's because we actually spoke to Mr. Steve Varner, who is the head of Varner Studios, on my Trek Untold podcast not that long ago. And we talked about his history making Star Trek toys, as well as being one of the first guys and one of the main guys to work on the entire original line of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and a ton of other toys from your childhood. So if you haven't seen our interview with Steve Varner on Trek Untold, go ahead and track it down on this YouTube channel. But that's enough talk about this packaging here. Let's go ahead and get this Sonic the Hedgehog out of the box and take a closer look at him from all angles. And maybe I'll slow down, maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm excited. It's Sonic. All right, and we are back, and here is our Sonic out of the package. But before I actually talk about this figure, I do want to talk about this. And normally I don't talk about these, but you know, Diamond always includes some kind of like little pamphlet about other products they have, and this one here is a little glimpse at some of the other Sonic the Hedgehog products they have, because I didn't really know what they have. You know, we haven't really seen some of the Sonic stuff in quite some time, so yeah, I wanted to show you guys what else is going to be on the market so that you Sonic fans know. So there are going to be some mini-mates coming out very soon, or might already be out for all we know. Which is kind of interesting, seeing Sonic in mini-mate form. We also have some Vini-mates. If you don't know what Vini-mates are, they're basically deluxe-sized mini-mates. So they're like double or maybe 3 times the size of a mini-mate. Definitely probably closer to 3 or 4. And I think they actually look pretty great. These look really nice. I mean, you know, mini-mates, I don't know if they quite translate as well, but Vini-mates, I think they definitely did. And on the back, we also have a peek at some of the other gallery diorama pieces that are coming out from Sonic, and this is in the video game line. So again, what we're looking at today is a movie version, but there are video game pieces for Sonic coming from Diamond also. So we have one of Tails with a Chaos Emerald and one of Sonic with a Chaos Emerald and a ring. Those are really sweet pieces, actually, so I hope I get my hands on them as well some point soon. But for now, let's talk about Sonic, and what can you say about this piece? So again, a reminder, like I'm going to say probably a lot in this video just to make sure everybody knows it, because you always get that one person in the comments who doesn't know it. This is based on the movie version of Sonic, not the video game version. But how relevant really is that to your enjoyment of this piece? Not really much, at least in my opinion, not really much. I mean, Sonic just looks kind of like a more realistic version of how he already looks in the video game. So to me, it's not like you're really going to lose that much difference in terms of that appearance. We've got Sonic in action. He's currently charged up. He's jumping on some of Robotnik's machines. It's pretty cool all around. So yeah, I'm liking this piece already. One thing that is kind of neat, whether it's good or bad, it's kind of a personal preference ultimately, but something that I kind of like in this case is that it's kind of a smaller piece, and this statue here is just under 6 inches. I'd say it's like actually closer, it looks like it's actually under 5 inches in fact, or about 5. His hair has him like almost close to 5 inches, so it is a much smaller PVC piece than what we're used to seeing from Diamond. Would I have liked this to be a little bit bigger? Yeah, I would have. I mean, I don't mind this size, but keep in mind you're still paying the same price. So I'm not quite sure why it is so small. That part to me is kind of unusual. I expect it to be a little bit bigger, especially when I saw the previews of it. And here in person, it's kind of small and almost a little bit underwhelming, I hate to say, because it would be way cooler if it was just like at least 2-3 inches bigger. Because that means, again, the whole thing would be completely bigger. And like, imagine the Sonic, you know, right now, I'm pretty close up on the camera too, but imagine if I pulled out, it'd look so much nicer, I think, in that size. But as far as details go, I mean, you're not really losing anything with the smaller size, and it looks kind of sharp also with the smaller scale. Now, normally one of the things I first talk about in these videos will be the likeness, and does this look like Sonic the Hedgehog? Yeah, I think definitely. I think this looks like Sonic from the film. It's pretty nice looking. You can see his little smile there. I know it's a little hard to see from the angle. It's hard to like pick a good angle to show a piece like this, especially because he's like pointed down and angled down a little bit. So you don't quite get to see all the facial details as easily, but yeah, I think this looks a lot like Sonic from the film. I like the pose also. You know, the pose is kind of like hide a little bit of how his legs are longer, because they did make his legs a little more elongated, I feel like, in the film than he has been in the video games. But doing this kind of pose also helps kind of scrunch him down a little bit and make him feel a little bit more video gamey. But I mean, the expression is great. I mean, there's that smug Sonic smile that you can see right there. The eyes are painted really nicely. The hair is really cool too. I mean, you can see some great detail in his fur. I called it hair, but it's fur. We know what it is. And beyond that, it's a fairly simple figure, at least a fairly simple rendition of Sonic. Not really a ton of detail, not really any weathering of the paint or any real differences in the paint. In fact, for the most part, it's just one solid shade of blue all around. A lot of other times you'll see Diamond go with like a two-tone paint effect. Not in the case of Sonic. It's pretty much one tone for, I think, everything here. And that includes his gloves, his shoes, socks even, like everything else here, it's pretty much one tone. And that's contrasted down here with Robotnik's machine. And I think this, you know, contrast here is done on purpose, because again, Sonic is not really from this world. He is kind of meant to be outerworldly, if you will. And so, you know, this is more based in reality. So therefore you can see there is a lot more paint detail in this machine. There is two-tone paint on this. There's some really nice highlighting in here, especially in the crevices. You've got the caution tape. You've got a nice kind of glow effect happening down here from this little bit of, I guess, fuselage maybe? Fuselage? I can't say words today. You know what I mean, folks. But just really, really nice paint detail, really nice shape as well. This is just a nice looking little machine here. And another cool highlight about this piece that I like a lot are what we're looking at right now, which is these blue sparks, these blue energy beams. That's Sonic's charging up right there. That looks really cool. It actually reminds me a lot of the Thor piece I did for Avengers Endgame, where he was like being filled with electricity, and I like that a lot. So I'm always a fan of when they do these kinds of translucent effects, these transparent plastics, and Sonic was a great choice for it, much needed. And I think without it, honestly, the piece wouldn't quite be as good. It would be a little bit boring to me if I can imagine it without these blue charging strikes here, but the way it is right now, it just is filled with so much more energy. And keep in mind, this Sonic pose right here, he just landed on top of this thing, so this is like the aftershock of Sonic, and I think that's a cool concept also. So I guess this is going to be kind of a Sonic review here, because I don't really have a ton more to say about it, since it is kind of a small piece. It's pretty simple, it's pretty compact. That is kind of a good and a bad thing here. It kind of depends what you want in a statue. Ultimately, with this compact size, you're not going to necessarily be getting, no, I don't want to say little detail. You're definitely getting a ton of detail here. But with the compact size, what you're not going to be getting is a discounted price. And I think his price, I think it's still basically the same as any other PVC statue. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to double check that. If I'm wrong, I'll make a note right here. But I'm pretty sure this is like a $40, $50 piece. That part's a little tough to swallow when you consider the size of this. But what's interesting to note, like I said earlier, is that there isn't really a lot of Sonic merchandise from the film, and Diamond is kind of really filling that void here. I don't think they're necessarily taking advantage of things. It might just be the fact that the Sonic franchise costs a lot of money to make things out of, and that might be why the price is still fairly high for a kind of small piece. But that said, they're packing a lot of great detail into a pretty small piece. I like this a lot. It's got a lot of energy to it. It's got pretty nice paint detail. And one of the nice things about this being kind of smaller too is that it is easy to find a place for it if you want to display this. You know, bigger statues can be kind of difficult to do that with. Smaller pieces, you've got a little more options. You can kind of put them on gaming shelves, especially, you know, for folks who are video game collectors. This would stack up nicely with like a Xbox or PlayStation physical disc case, or even the Genesis box, anything like that. So while I would have loved a bigger Sonic piece, I'm pretty sure the other ones that I showed you in that pamphlet actually are bigger. I feel like I've seen them in person, and I'm pretty positive they're like double the size. So yeah, if you want a bigger piece and you prefer the video game stuff, you might want to just wait for those. If you like this movie piece, I would say get it. Maybe get it from like Amazon when it maybe drops a little bit in price. But again, I don't think there's a ton of Sonic merchandise in general that is this kind of thing that are domestic as well. It's probably a lot of imports, but as far as domestic stuff goes, don't think there's a ton of it out there that's good quality like this too. So in my opinion, see if you can get a price drop somewhere, but I think it's worth getting. So that's our look at the Sonic the Hedgehog PVC action diorama from Diamond Select. Normally it's a gallery diorama, but I guess the video game versions of the gallery, this is an action diorama. Go figure. Branding is whatever, it's still the same statue. It's still a really nice piece. I recommend it. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today, and gotta go fast, so we'll see you guys later.